Hey there, you wonderful listeners. I have a question for you. Do you want to make a podcast? Well, Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily and then distribute it everywhere and even earn money all in one place and for free. How can you beat that? It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here is how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify. And when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, there are Q&A and poll options available, and those are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free with no catch. Ever since I've discovered Spotify for Podcasters, it has made doing my shows like the Steam Machine Podcast, Yabs Pod, and the JRPG Report much, much easier to do. Like being able to just go on there, record them, upload it, boom, it's done. I don't have to pay for a site service to host or anything like that. It's fantastic. So I highly recommend that you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started today.
Welcome to the Steam Machine Podcast. With your hosts, Dalton and Ryan. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, welcome back to the greatest gaming podcast out there. This is the Steam Machine Podcast. How was that? Hey everybody, my name's Dalton. Welcome back to the Steam Machine Podcast. This week, your episode is brought to you by Jizzy's Pleasure Palace and Used Toy Emporium. We hope you enjoy. Hope everyone's having a good week this week. So I am going to start off with a bit of news. Ryan has decided to take an extended hiatus from the show due to some family things, time constraints, yada, yada, yada. So, just everybody wish him luck and everything that he does, and hopefully that he'll be back around summertime to come join us again for a few games. But for now, it's just going to be me and whoever I can find that wants to talk about some video games that particular week. But it's all good, man. I'm going to keep pumping out stuff for you guys. I hope you keep enjoying it. People seem to be really digging the stuff lately. So, got to just kind of keep rolling forward with that. So I believe I was on Twitch watching Dave from Tadpog stream. Shout out Tadpog. And we were talking about Boy Scouts. So it made me think of all the times when I was, all these stories that I had from Boy Scouts. So I figured I would tell a couple of them today. Now, I know what you're thinking, oh, God, Boy Scout stories. But, listen. My troop was, the misfit troop of Boy Scouts. When we would go on campouts and stuff, all these camps would look prim and proper and all of that. They'd be all set up, and then you'd look at our camp, and we had a stereo and a grill going, and there were people sleeping in hammocks up in trees, and we were definitely the wild ones. But we had a lot of fun. Absolutely. But there were some times that weren't so fun. So in particular, I'm going to tell some that weren't so fun today. They seemed funny at the time, but looking back on at least two of these, I feel bad about them now, being older and more mature. So the first one was we were at a summer camp, and we were all sword fighting with basically there was a bunch of bamboo around this area that we were camping in, and we had cut them into a bunch of sword length sticks, and we're doing sword fights and poking each other. And one of us, I think it was my buddy Jordan, was hit me in the back with it as hard as you can, see if we can break one. So I took it and just, Babe Ruthed him across the shoulder blades. And it didn't break it fully, but it cracked it to where it looked like a kendo stick. And if you don't know what a kendo stick is, it's this long stick weapon type thing that you use, and when you hit somebody, it's slatted all around it. It's like a skinny bat with slats, and these slats are designed to hit you and then pinch your skin and rip it when you yank the cane away from your skin, right? So we were like, oh man, this is gonna be great. We'll have these kendo sticks, and we'll walk around carrying the kendo sticks. People think we're cool, yada yada yada. Well, we had some younger scouts, and I'm not proud to say that we hazed some of them. Nothing like you hear from colleges or anything, but like you're randomly coming up and dumping a cooler full of ice water on them. And there's stuff like that. And it was hot outside. It's not like we were doing it when it was freezing cold or anything. We'd fuck with them. Well, some of us would fuck with them more than others. Brendan decided to. They were like calling everybody to lunch, so we were all heading to the lunch area. And Brendan just runs full speed towards this kid, Bryce, that was in our troop. And he snaps his bamboo stick over this kid's lower back. Not across shoulder blades, caught him right across, like mid-lower back with it. And the fucking shriek that came from that, and he's not a little kid. He wasn't a little kid. This dude was like 15, 14 around there. I think I was like 15 or 16. But Brendan was like 16 or 17 or so, and yeah. So Bryce lets out this fucking howl, and we all just took off running before the scoutmasters came to see what the hell had happened. Now, looking back on that now, I know that Bryce was our age, but mentally he was not our age, and I feel a little bad not a little bad, I feel really bad for fucking with him, to be honest. Because there was another time on another camp out where we rigged up this like rope thing on a tree. Oh, and I know that sounds real bad, but stick with me for a second. It was big enough for somebody to sit in. Like, you would get in with your legs and sit on it, and then us older kids would pull the rope. And it was a big, thick rope, and pull it up. And that way these younger kids, because we were doing this with all the younger kids, would go up to the top and be able to see over all the camps that were out there at this particular camp meet and stuff. And they were all loving it, man. Just loving it. Well, Bryce wanted to do it. So we were like, yeah, sure, man. And Jason and Brendan, I want to say that I had no part in this decision. I was back at the camp when this happened. But so they raise Bryce up there, and he starts freaking the fuck out, right? Just freaking the fuck out. And they bring him back down, and it was at that point that I walked some of the other younger kids back over to the camp. Left Brendan and Jason there. Not the best idea, because they come walking into the camp, and I'm like, where's Bryce? And they're like, oh, he's still sitting up in the tree. We tied it so he could hang up there. Oh, all right. And I didn't think anything of it. So probably about 45 minutes later, we're sitting around in the campsite, and Jason just looks up and goes, oh, fuck, we forgot about Bryce. So me, him, and Brendan jump up and run to go get this kid. I say kid, he was our age, but, whatever. And they had let him back up into the tree after he had screamed about wanting to come down. They fucking duct taped his hands to the rope and then put duct tape over his mouth and hung him in the tree. And I remember looking at them like, are y'all fucking serious? Why the fuck would you do it, dude? And he didn't say a fucking word the rest of that camp trip. Not a goddamn word. And I felt so bad. I'm like, why did y'all do that? And then his mom threatened to sue the troop after that and all that. And I don't blame her. At the time, I was like, oh, that's dumb. But no, growing up and having retrospect and looking back on it, I do not blame her one bit, because that they basically tortured that poor kid, and that's just kind of fucked up. So, okay, a little bit of a more funny story. So, we are out golfing. We were at some Scout Blast camp, and we're all playing golf, and there was this kid named Rusty, who I still know to this day actually, and he kept walking out in front of us, and we were telling him, Rusty, don't keep walking out in front of us, man. You're gonna get hit with a golf ball, and it's really gonna hurt. It's really gonna hurt. And Rusty is just. He was like the pudgy kid. I feel like he really looked up to like me and the other older kids. You know, he was trying to fit in and stuff. So we were just telling him like, come over here with us. But then he would do something and then he'd go wandering off in front of us again. And I think at one point he was doing it just to troll us. And I said, all right, man. And I yelled 4. And I hit that golf ball. And it sailed straight and hit Rusty right in the fucking face. Boom! And he did like this backflip and hit the ground. And me and Jason were just standing there, just motionless. And I looked at Jason and went, oh, shit. And Jason just looked at me and said, I think you just killed him. So we ran over there, and he was all right other than his mouth was pouring blood. So I was just like, he was alive. So I was like, oh, thank God. Dude, that is exactly why we told you not to walk in front of us. Like, what were you thinking? Oh, man. So I ended up, me and my mom ended up taking him to the hospital and going to hang out with him while he got, his lip fixed up and stuff. They put his teeth through his top lip, and he had to have gauze and all that put in there. And then, like, on the way to the hospital, he sticks his finger into the hole in his lip, and he's like, look, I could do this. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like I said, ragtag band of misfits. And what was crazy is that our leader was also a misfit. And then we had another scout leader at one time that was an older man, and he was pretty cool, but he was definitely more by the books, but lenient. Like, he understood how to have a good time. But that leads me to my last story, and if I've told this one on the pod before, I apologize. But I got kicked out of Boy Scouts for trying to fight the new Scoutmaster. So we got a new Scoutmaster, and we went on a camp out not too far from my house, actually. There's a national park, or a state park, I think. Yeah, state park near me. And so we set up the troop to go out there to go camping. Well, normally when we went, the leader would bring water and stuff like that, and we would divvy it up and, have everything set aside. Well, he expected us to do all that and didn't tell us that. So we show up, and we got nothing to drink. We got a pot and got some water out of a faucet at the state park and tried to boil it. But there were like flies in it and shit. I'm like, no, fuck this. So I called my dad and I said, hey, man, we're not that far away. We don't have anything to drink. Will you get enough drinks, and stuff? And my dad's like, oh, yeah, dude, don't worry about it. So he shows up with a big-ass cooler full of water and soda. It was like probably 40% bottles of water, 60% soda, because he knew how kids are kids. They want to drink sodas while they're out and about. So we had these 3 kids that were relatively new to our troop, and their dad was a scoutmaster from Tampa, and he was here to try to help get things going, and then he was going to leave later in the day. So he comes walking up, finding out what's going on, and he walks over and he says, oh, there's no soda allowed. To which me and Alan, who at this point, Brendan was gone, Jason was gone. At this point, me and Alan were the older guys in the troop. We called, funny enough for my game buds, we called him Stubbs because he had 2 missing fingers. Alan did. He had 2 missing fingers, so we called him Stubbs. And it would actually, he had 2 missing fingers, so he would be 2 Stubbs. Like, I have no... I'm just putting this together now on microphone. That's fucking fantastic. If you know, you know. So me and him look at this guy. We call him Ranger. We'll refer to him as Ranger Dick. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Obviously, we didn't cuss to him, but we were like, what are you talking about? Soda's not allowed. Since when? He's like, since always. What, y'all just been doing that around here? Like, yeah, we do whatever the fuck we want, because none of us joined the Boy Scouts to be part of the elite. Like, oh, we're the Boy Scouts. It was like, nah, dude, we want to go camping and have a good fucking time. Lay off. Well, he didn't lay off. He took the cooler and he said, we're gonna put this by the Scoutmaster's tent, and we'll take care of it. So he walks away. So my dad looks at me before he leaves. He grabs me on the arm, he pulls me aside, and he says, "Do not hesitate to call me your mom if you've got a problem. You hear me?" So, yes, sir. Because he knew. My dad already knew because he knows me. He knew that this was not going to go well because of how I am, especially with authority. So everything seems to be going fine. We end up taking all the kids onto a big walk. It was me, Alan, and then our like underling, I'll call him. It would be like right under us was Miles. So we take the younger kids and go out for a walk. Now, I should preface that our new Scoutmaster's name was like Robert or something like that, but we'll call him Sparky. We really should call him Douchebag McFuckface, but we'll call him Sparky because that's what his actual nickname is. His actual nickname that he tells people to call him is Sparky. That's what I want you to remember about this dude. Okay, so Sparky has a son who is also in this troop as well, aside from Ranger Dick and his 3 sons. So it was like all kinds of shit going on. So anyway, we go for a walk, and we end up cutting through this barbed wire fence that said no trespassing, because who the fuck cares? And we went into, it was like a little sand pit, right? And we were just standing on the edge of it, kind of looking out before we walked back through the fence to go walk back in the woods some more and head back to camp. So this Miles, we start walking a little bit ahead of the younger kids, and Cody, who is Douchebag McFuckface Sparky's son, is walking behind us. And then the other kids are in trail, kind of just following along, talking about whatever they were talking about. And Miles starts telling us he started getting, him and his girlfriend were experiencing things together for the first time. Let's put it that way. And me and Alan were like, "Oh shit, really? That's what's up, man." And he was kind of just opening up to us about it, and it wasn't vulgar. We weren't going into any graphic detail. It was kind of like he was just getting some experienced help, seeking knowledge type. So we get back to camp, and me and Alan get called over to the adults tent, where we are reprimanded for talking about sexual intercourse around the young kids. And it was like, no, they couldn't have heard us. Like, and then it clicked in our head, like, motherfucker, Cody was right there with us, and he went and told his dad immediately when we got back. So he was like the spy for the troop. So we no longer, at that moment, we were like, all right, well, fuck him. Like, fuck that kid. Like, he's not included in anything. Right? And that sucks for him because it was his dad that, probably made him do that. But we cut him off, man. Like, we didn't tell him when we were, because we would, me, Alan, and Miles would sneak off at night once everybody was asleep and go smoke some joints and then come back and chill around the campfire. It was great. It was a great fucking time. So anyway, one night, it was a grand time all night. We made chili in this big cast iron pot, and me and Alan were in charge of cleanup. So we cook the chili. Everybody eats. It's all good. We do some games around the fire and stuff for the younger kids. Me and Alan pour water in the chili pot, kind of scrape around to get stuff out of it, pour the water out, pour more water in there from the faucet, and then put it over the fire to boil. And we were going to boil it twice and then clean out. And then if we missed anything, we'd get it in the morning. Well, Sparky did not like that, and he calls us over to the fire, all the kids. And he starts going off about how we need to learn discipline and how we need to learn how to clean things properly because this is unacceptable, yada, yada, yada. And that would have been fine and dandy. We'd have taken that ass chewing and just moved on, even though we were like, well, you didn't even let us get to the second boil. So, like, of course we're not done cleaning it yet but that's beside the point. So what he said that set me off was, he goes, "Oh, and another thing, we're not going to call our daddies anytime we get a little thirsty, you understand?" And that just triggered something in me like the fucking Hulk, because I just looked at him and I said, "Screw you." And he said, "Excuse me?" And I said, "Yeah, there's no reason at all for you to bring my dad into this, you asshole. You don't talk to me like that." I said, "I'll talk to you however the fuck I want to talk to you. You do not fucking talk about my dad like that." And he said something else, and he starts walking towards me. And I said, "Dude, do not come fucking near me. I will knock you the fuck out. To which he replied to me, boy, you don't have the capability to knock me out. So I charged him, and I got held back. I ended up getting held back. It took like the three older, Miles, Alan, and then Thomas, who's another older kid, all had to grab me and hold me back because I was trying to go fight this dude. And I ended up turning around, and he told me to, call my parents and have them come get me. And I punched a tree. I remember because my hand is still fucked up from it. I punched a tree and went into my tent, called my mom. And my dad was actually playing a concert, and it was really loud when I called my mom, and she walked outside, and she was like, hey, your dad's playing, what's up? And I said, oh, I need you to come get me right now. And she went, okay, I'll be right there. So I didn't even pack up my stuff. I asked Alan, hey man, just will you pack up my tent and everything and bring it back to me when y'all are done, you guys, because they were still sleeping in it, like they were my bunk mates. And he's like, oh, absolutely, I got you covered. I'll put it in my trunk when I'm done. Don't worry about it. First fucking thing I did is I got out of my tent. I walked over to the adult area. I grabbed my cooler that had all that soda, because they had separated the water bottles into another cooler that had no ice in it, and then kept all the sodas by their tents. So I grabbed my cooler full of soda and walked out to the road that was there, like by the little campsite. I sat the cooler down, popped it open, grabbed a soda, cracked it, started drinking it. Alan and Miles come walking out there, threw them each a soda. We cracked it standing around like Hank Hill and the guys just drinking sodas instead of beer. Just kind of taking in the fact that, like, what the fuck just happened? So the kicker to all of this is I leave. I'm on my way home. We pass some cops. Now, I'm a big dude. At the time, I was probably about 5'11", 6 foot, but I'm about 6'1.5", 6'2", somewhere around in there. I'm about 350 pounds. Back then, yeah, probably 300, 400 pounds, somewhere around in there. I'm a big dude. And I get a call from Alan, and he says, just so you know, he called the cops on you. And I said, what are you talking about? What? He said, yeah, he called the cops. He basically told the cops that you tried to attack him and that he wants to, press charges or whatever. I said, but I didn't hit him. He said, yeah, but you were threatening and insulting. And so Alan's laughing, telling me this. So he says, I'll keep you posted. I said, okay. So I get a call later that night, and he says, okay, so I got to tell you what happened. I said, yeah, dude, tell me what's up. He says, so the cops showed up, and you were gone, and they didn't ask us for a description of you. They didn't want to talk to the kids. They just wanted to talk to the adults. So he goes, Sparky was telling them that, yeah, this Boy Scout that I've got threatened me and tried to attack me and all of this stuff. But he goes, but you were gone, so there was no ability to look at you and see the size of you and if the intimidating presence that you've got. He goes, so these fucking cops just looked at him like, so your Boy Scout tried to beat you up, huh? All right, we'll look into it. So, yeah, that was, I got a call like at the end of the weekend, and my dad answered the phone, and the guy was like, hi, this is Robert Milam, Sparky, and we had a meeting, and we would like to, we just think that this isn't a good fit. Like, we don't think Dalton should be in the troop anymore. And my dad said, oh, well, I guess there's no reason for me to talk to you anymore then, and just fucking hung up on him. And what pissed my dad off is I was one rank away from Eagle Scout. I was one rank away from Eagle Scout. But, that is what it is. But yeah, that was, I got plenty more stories from Boy Scouts, man. That was a wild fucking troop. We did a lot of crazy shit. But it was fun. It was really fun. But this is a gaming podcast, so let's get to some gaming stuff. This week I've been fucking around with Wasteland 3, which is absolutely fantastic. If anybody's interested in a turn-based, almost like a turn-based Fallout game, it is awesome. I really enjoy it. I've also been playing Pathfinder Kingmaker some. That is also really cool too. That's an ode back to the classic computer RPGs from back in the day, as far as the kind of isometric look and the real time with pause combat, Baldur's Gate-esque style. If you're a fan of the old CRPGs, Pathfinder Kingmaker and Wasteland 3, I feel like would be a very good choice for you to check out. Also, GOG had a sale, and I think it might still be going on right now. Good Old Games. Anytime we cover those episodes will be the GOG complex, or as somebody in Discord said, the GOG reflex. I added a ton of old computer RPGs, and I mean, I got all the Ultimas, and some Dungeons and Dragons games and things like that. I've been watching a lot of this YouTuber named Matt Barton. He does a show called Matt Chat, and he's written some books on computer RPGs and tabletop and stuff. It's all fascinating to me. He interviews these game makers that made these, RPGs that changed the way that RPGs were for PCs or really for anything back then. So I mean, I'm really enjoying that. I would name them all, but there is a fuckload. But I can name a few of them. I got all the Ultimas. I got some wizardry games. Lands of Lore 1, 2, and 3. Albion, Armacrog, and Omicron. Yeah, there's all kinds of, I don't know, I'm just naming these off is not gonna be helpful for anybody. But so this week I played Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth. Man, I really had some fun with it, but before we get into that, the obligatory Wikipedia bullshit is Digimon Cyber Sleuth is a role-playing game developed by Media.Vision and published by Bandai Namco Entertainment for the PlayStation Vita and the PlayStation 4 and PC eventually, I guess. It is based on the Digimon franchise. It is the 5th game in the Digimon Story series, following 2011's Super Cross Wars, and the first to be released on home consoles. An English version of the game was released in early February 2016 and features cross-save functionality between the two platforms. Unlike previous Digimon games, it does not have an English dub and retains Japanese voice acting. The sequel, Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory, was released in Japan in 2017 and the Western territories in early 2018 for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita, and in July 2009 a port to the Nintendo Switch and Windows alongside with its sequel was announced for release on October 18th, 2019 as the complete edition with both games together in one, and it released on PC a day early because PC rocks. So basically, the gist of this game is you play as like third person perspective. You run around as a human, you control Digimon, and you're trying to go through the story. Now, there is a huge story to this game. Not gonna lie though, I didn't pay a lot of attention to it. I was more focused on just Digivolutions, to be completely upfront and honest. But the story, as far as you're like a cyber sleuth, or you become a cyber sleuth, and you're trying to find these hackers who are fucking with the digital world. And there's the Ghost Kid, there's the Araba, and then there's Jimmykin, who is the looks like if Marilyn Manson and Kiss had a baby. But yeah, man, it's a fun game. I really enjoyed it. But I did not play this game for the story. I played it for the gameplay. I treated this game kind of like a Pokemon game, where it was cycle through the story, yada yada yada. I just want to see some more Digimon and raise them up and get them to the highest level and see how far I can get with that. I did end up with some really cool Digimon. I ended up with War Garurumon, War Greymon, Metal War Greymon, Angemon, Devimon. Oh no, I had Blue Devimon or White or Ice Devimon. Yeah, it was Ice Devimon. And then there was some that I don't remember the names of, but they were really cool. They had really big dragons. One of them was Garomon, but a big dragon looking thing. Oh, they were really cool. It was really fun. The one that stands out to me, and he was a favorite on my Twitch channel. Shout out if you want to check us out. Twitch.tv/Steam Machine Dalton. Come watch me stream on Tuesdays, 9:30 Eastern. Yeah, on Tuesdays, 9:30 Eastern, PM. And I'm gonna be picking a second day, but I don't know when. Maybe Mondays. Maybe I'll do Mondays and Tuesdays if I can. Now that it's just gonna be me and I can go back to recording on Sundays, maybe I can swing that. So the favorite on Twitch stream was Nanemon, and Nanemon. How do I describe him? If you took Pac-Man and gave him human-like features, arms and legs, and then made him look like Macho Man Randy Savage. That was Nanamon. And he had a move called Poop Dunk, where he would go, huh! And a big pile of pink shit would fall out of him, and he would grab it and throw it at the enemy. Yeah, and specifically Ice Brand, that was his favorite thing in the whole stream. He's like, this is my new favorite Digimon. But yeah, shout out to people that popped in. There are a total of 249 unique Digimon featured, including 7 that were available as DLC through the life of the game, and 2 which were exclusive to the Western release. And the complete edition included 92 new Digimon from Hacker's Memory, which is the sequel to the kind of companion piece to this, for a total of 341. Now, I will say what's kind of cool is the Hacker's Memory takes place basically as this game is taking place too, so they both tell one story. So if you want to kind of get the gist of it, you can play both of them. And I've paid attention to some of the story in this before. I don't know, this week I wasn't feeling a story-driven game, so I just really wanted to get in there and just fuck some shit up and see how high I could evolve my Digimon, you know? But this did make me want to play some more Digimon type games. So on my PS3, I got the Digimon World 3 that I might check out here and there. And yeah, fucking A. There's really not much to say about the game. I did enjoy the farm system. So there's this like Digi farm that you can have, and that is where you can store your Digimon that you're not using, and they will kind of interact together and train and stuff while they're there and raise their levels. Think of it like the people in Pokemon who you can take your Pokemon to and leave them to the daycare center. Think of it like a Pokemon daycare center, but you own it and you can have 10 Digimon on each island. You end up getting 5 islands and you can upgrade them all 5 times so you can get 5 stars, because they each make a star once you've finished upgrading them, which I did manage to do. Do I recommend this for Digimon fans? Absolutely. If you're a fan of the show, which I did watch a lot of the show, and I'll get to that in a second too, but I recommend it. You know, you're going to see a lot of familiar Digimon. It's going to feel familiar because it's kind of Pokemon-esque. Kind of like Pokemon meets Persona, honestly. It's kind of how it reminded me as far as the gameplay goes. But if you're like a JRPG fan and not a Digimon fan, you might get some enjoyment out of this because of the JRPG aspects of it, but probably not. And if you're not a fan of RPGs or Digimon, this is not the game for you. I don't think you would enjoy it at all. I would give this, if I had to, probably like a 7. Like a 7. It's solid, nothing special. So the show, I acquired the first 4 seasons of it, and because the versions that I'm watching have no commercials, it is amazing to me how much that they pack into 18 minutes. It feels like the episodes are over before you know it because there's just content flowing in your fucking face the entire time, man. It's wild. But you know, the story of Ty and those guys, I've really been enjoying rewatching that, and I might actually stick through and watch some more of it as I'm playing the game this week. Which, speaking of, I asked Steamy, hey man, I was like, what do you think we should play next week? And he thought for a minute, he booped, and then his stomach lit up. And there was a picture staring back at me, and I'm like, word, I'm down. And the game that he revealed to me was Doom 2, Hell on Earth, I think it's called. Doom 2, Hell on Earth. And I immediately was like, shooter? Fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's get some action up in that bitch. So I told Ryan, and this was before the conversation that me and him had today. But I was watching Nate, our cog in the machine. Shout out to Nate. Much love, man. And he was talking on his stream that he wanted to play Doom coming up sometime because now that he's got his big, fancy, badass PC, he wants to play some old school Doom. And I was like, oh, shit. And I had a key for Doom 2. And I said, you know what? I'm going to send him this key. So I sent him on Discord. I said, hey, man, I'm going to send you this. It's some Doom, so you'll actually be able to play some. I said, with the caveat that join me next weekend, and we'll talk about some Doom. And he was like, absolutely. So next week you'll be able to catch me and Nate, aka Turtle Bear Man. Check him out, twitch.tv/TurtleBearMan. And we're gonna talk about some Doom 2 and slay some demons and shit. It should be a good time. If you would like to follow us on social media, you can go to facebook.com/SteamMachinePodcast, or you can head over to Twitter and find us at Steam_podcast. We also have a website now. We have a website. It is the SteamMachinePodcast.wordpress.com. I know it's really long, but it is what I can do. Also, please, if you would mean a ton, a absolute shit ton. Head over to iTunes, leave us a review. That would be wonderful. A 5-star review would be the best thing that I could think of, obviously. But if you think that it's a 4 or whatever, just give us a review. But wait, what am I saying? No, go give us a 5-star review. Only 5-star reviews. Only 5-star. I'm using hypnosis. Yeah, fucking A. It's been a long week, guys. It's been a long week, and things keep piling up. But I am going to persevere, and I'm going to keep putting out this content for you guys who enjoy it. I really appreciate everybody that listens and contributes on the Patreon. Shout out to the Patreon people. I'm still going to be doing Patreon content as well. Now doing it by myself, I will figure something out, but whatever basically this is my job right now. So anyways, without getting too far into that, I'm gonna start rambling, and there's no one here to rein me in. Let's see, I think I hit everything, man. Leave us a review, check us out on the Patreon, patreon.com/SteamMachinePodcast, twitch.tv/SteamMachineDalton. Yeah, I think that's about it, man. So next week you'll be catching me and Nate talking about some Doom 2. If you've got any memories about Doom 2 or anything like that, dude, hit us up on Facebook, hit us up on Twitter, join the Discord. If you're having trouble finding any of that, if you don't know where to find the Discord link or anything like that, go to our website, thesteammachinepodcast.wordpress.com. All of the links are on there. There's even a link to my Bandcamp. If you like our intro music, you can go and pick that up there. All right, I love you all. Thank you very much for listening. And as always, guys, take it easy.